Yesterday, I was reading Anna Karenina, and I found this one sentence that I thought was funny and kind of moving. And I liked this characterization and the way it was constructed so much. I decided in that moment to just make a quick YouTube post, which is here. And before we get into the thrust of the post, let me just actually read the passage for you so we have something to start with. So this is about two friends who haven't seen each other in a while, named Levin and Katavasov. Levin thought that the clarity of Katavasov's worldview came from the poverty of his nature, and Katavasov thought that the inconsistency of Levin's thought came from a lack of mental discipline. But Levin liked Katavasov's clarity, and Katavasov liked the abundance of Levin's undisciplined thoughts, and they loved to get together and argue. So this sentence just sort of gets at how opposites attract, and it reminds me a lot of some of my friendships as well. So this is just a nicely constructed, emotionally touching sentence, but also mocking of kind of both in this case. We're ironically detached from both of these characters so that it's not obvious whose side we're on exactly. But it comes together to sort of a happy synthesis. So I really enjoyed this bit. And what I did is I just wrote a quick writing exercise for for you guys, for my YouTube audience. And I just quoted the inspiration itself and broke down the passage and turned it into steps. And so let me actually break it down right now. Here we have Levin thought that the clarity of Katavasov's worldview came from the poverty of his nature, and Katavasov thought that the inconsistency of Levin's thought came from a lack of mental discipline. Now, we have here Levin as a subject of this first clause and Katavasov as a subject of the second clause. But then if we keep going, Levin is the subject of the third, Katavasov is the subject of the fourth, and then the fifth is they together. Okay, so this sort of ping ponging between the subjects, two opposite subjects, as we proceed through the clauses, is a very basic structure that you can also use in your own writing. So the first two steps is to identify two opposites. In this case, it's Levin and Katavasov, and then alternate them in the subject position of your clauses, which is antithesis in classical rhetoric. Antithesis is so commonly taught that it can be taught in various ways, but that's one of the key features of antithesis. And then after that, we also have the fact that we really only use coordinating conjunctions to string together the five clauses. We have this and over here, we have this but over here, we have this and over here, and then we have this and over here. So this is called parataxis, and the big kind of interesting thing about this is just that you can keep piling on clauses, clause after clause after clause, and as long as you're pretty good at using the list form, you can kind of build up tension and even have a sort of payoff at the end that comes together and sort of punches you in the gut, or in this case, kind of ribs you at the end. And you just want to end with a sort of synthesis, some sort of climax, if you want to follow this little format. So let me actually try doing this. It's my first time ever doing a video in this format, but since I thought, it's an interesting writing exercise, might as well like show myself doing it. I haven't actually written in a long time, so this may not be the best. I might embarrass myself a little bit here, but let me actually just try getting into it. So Let me just take opposites, and I'll just start right now. I'm gonna just start as dumb as possible because I don't have a college application in front of me. I'm just gonna go with red pencil, black pencil, right? So I have two opposites. Um, the red the red pencil corrects what the black pencil, what the black spills, and the black pencil. Oh, I should say the red pen. The red pen corrects, and the black pen uh, gushes forth, uh, paying no heed to his friend. But the red pencil, the red pen, admires. And I'm realizing I'm actually a little far from the mic, so I'm not going to be able to edit that very well. Uh, but this is basically a live stream at this point, so I'm not going to fix that. Uh, so I'll just reposition myself here. But the red pen admires the the zest of the black. And now I'm just sort of debating whether you can even see what I'm writing, and probably you kind of probably can't. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move my mic a little, and move it closer to the center of the screen, which won't make a big difference. But I'll also try to write bigger. Here we go. But the red pen admires the zest of the black. And the black pen feels secure, safe. Feels safe in under the watch of the red and so on they go, sparring and leaving lines behind. I literally, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that came out better than I expected, than I was anticipating. I was just sort of like responding to the just the honestly, I was just using that structure, the structure that I was showing you. I got my paradox. I even literally copied the same conjunctions. I didn't mess with the conjunctions. I had and, but, and, right? So and, but, and. And then I even copied straight up the final synthesis buildup. I used the red, the black, the red, the black, and then the they, right? So this for me, just within the confines of that structure, I'm now free to be more, to put more of my attention on the words that actually go into the lines, which is, I'll read them. The red pen corrects what the black spills, and the black pen gushes forth, paying no heed to his friend or to his friend's activity or whatever. But the red pen admires the zest of the black, and the black pen feels safe under the watch of the red, And so on they go, sparring and leaving maybe bloodied lines behind. Although that makes it maybe slightly too violent. But, this is just me kind of. I won't even say I'm a great writer. It's just because I haven't really been writing in such a long time. But this is me. I'm pretty satisfied with that outcome. Now let me try it again with two different subjects. Um, and maybe I'll try two subjects that would potentially come out in a college essay that doesn't um, that aren't people. Okay, so I already went into a metaphorical, like red pencil, black pencil, like personification mode. I'm gonna try again something that's not people because I don't want to make guesses about what kind of people are in your life. I'll just work with some idea. What are some potential things we can use as opposites? So, uh, oops, opposites. Now, let me actually just double check on the camera. Can you actually read that? I mean, I guess you can. It's a little hard to do the zoom, but you know what? It's not that hard. Let me see if I let me see if I can just make this work. Okay, give me an awkward minute. All right, that's probably a lot of distortion and probably not the best. Honestly, probably not the best view, but it's better than what we had earlier. So here we go. Uh, so let's work with the opposites now, and I'm just gonna think of things. Opposites, biology versus physics, right? Or maybe um, computer syntax versus English syntax. Uh, Maybe what are things you guys might be interested in? I don't know. Your external self, external persona versus internal self, which all of you Asians have no internal self. Just kidding. Uh, and the I don't know, music as science, music as art versus music as math, which maybe some of you guys have that in your head. So these are some opposites that we could work with. I'm just spitballing. I haven't even been consulting any students recently, so it's not even coming from recent consulting experiences. I'm just sort of winging it right now. Here, let me use something maybe sillier. Um, Fans versus air conditioning. Um, Solo weightlifting versus I don't know, team sports, to try to make it closer to you guys. All right, so these are some opposites I can play with, but we could be more kind of abstract. We can just go with like if you're kind of like a Chicago Uncommon App style kid, you might want to try something even weirder. I don't know. Corn is the first word that came to mind for some reason. So what's the opposite of corn? The opposite of the opposite of corn. Well, corn is like kind of bulbous and has like it's variegated. So the opposite is something that's kind of unitary and monolithic. Is that a peach? I don't know why that was the first thing that came to mind. But okay, peach. Um, Onion versus onion versus onion has layers, makes you cry. Um, when you it has like a outer layer, it has a outer protection. When you peel it, though, it makes you cry. It doesn't taste sweet raw, but if you cook it, it gets you can actually start tasting the sweetness. So there's a sort of like aggressive exterior, kind of like a hidden soft sweetness to it. And what's the opposite of that? Something that's maybe sweet and soft on the outside, but a little but bitter as you get through it. Oh wait, what is that? What's something? I have a thought in my head, but I don't know what that is. Is it a peach? A peach can be bitter. I kind of like the idea of it, like in Korean we have persimmons, which if you but it's too similar because you have to like let it ripen. Nah, what is something that can be a little bitter at the end? What's that thing that I'm thinking? I don't know. Grapefruit, persimmon. I don't know, man. Okay, I'm gonna quit on that. But see, this is just me brainstorming, and this is how I would go with some sort of brainstorm. And I think just coming up with interesting opposites by themselves is a whole exercise. I think that's kind of worth doing. Now let's actually choose one of these and kind of and try one more time this writing exercise. So let's take two opposites, alternate them in the subject position of your clauses, use repeated ands or buts to string the clauses together, and end with a synthesis of some sort, a climax of some sort. Let me just try. What should I go for? I guess you know what it's biology versus physics. I'm just not a science student, so this is going to be pretty rough for me. But I kind of like the idea of biology versus physics. It's something that I feel like a lot of you high school students can just kind of relate to. Um, but even if you're not in high school, like I actually have a personal journey I feel like I could express with biology and physics. So here we go. Let's try biology versus physics, and I'll try to write big enough, and I'll try not to move this journal too much, so that you can see. Um, um, Physics, head, rules, laws, clarity. Physics speaks from the head and heart. And I think this is a little surprising to say head and heart. Um, Hang on, should I add a modifier? Head and heart. You know what? I'll try it. Uttering words of amazement. And I think you should be able to read what I'm writing. I think, yeah, you can. All right, that's good. That's perfect. In biology, I'm having trouble finding oppositions here. Well, let me try but. I want to see what happens when I mess with the structure. But um, biology, isn't so extroverted. I don't like those words, but biology isn't so chatty. Preferring to drink in the wonders by sight. I kind of don't like some of these words, but I'll just move on. That's partly why I use pen to force myself to move on. And physics. And physics gets impatient at his mute friend. Gets impatient with. Actually, I kind of like her mute friend. I like inverting physics because we don't give enough. We tend to think of men when it comes to physics. With her mute friend, and physics gets impatient with her mute friend. With her mute friend, doubting even, doubting even his intelligence. And biology knows this. And biology knows this, but can't. Ooh, this is kind of tough for me. This is more intellectual for me, but here we go. But biology knows this, but doesn't. Doesn't raise a sound. Oh, I kind of like this. And biology knows this, but doesn't raise a sound in protest. And life itself makes its protest on his behalf, wriggling, squirming, breeding, festering life. Okay, a little heady, a little harder to write for me for this one, and I part of it was now I added complexity by changing my transitions. So had the but and that just that change by itself messed required me to do a lot more computations because now I was no longer following the Anna Karenina model. So I had to think of the logical kind of output and the climax, and way harder to do it that way. But I still stuck with physics, biology, and this time I kind of did a bit of a wordplay on bio and life. I wonder if I could change the word and make it a little better. But for now, bio, life, bios, right? Life. They are the same word, but they refer to different. I mean, they have different textures here. We're thinking about different things. Biology, we're thinking about things at school. Life is a little unclear what life means when it just comes out of nowhere like that. But when I go with wriggling, squirming, breeding, festering life, now we're talking about. Now you're getting the sense of like the life of everything in the world. And I kind of like that life biology gets bullied by physics and then gets its comeuppance by being quiet. I kind of just like that idea overall, and I don't know. It took me a while to just come up with it, but this also is coming from exactly this same writing exercise. So I think that's already a really good demonstration of how what the writing process looks like. And I know some of you guys aren't really natural born writers. You haven't really done a lot of writing, and certainly not creative writing. Just growing up wherever you, going through the system wherever you went through that system, right? So I'm hoping that this little demonstration of how this exercise can be fruitful for you can actually turn into a practical application for you. I'm hoping that you can actually now use this writing exercise and go and replace one of your existing sentences or paragraphs in your college apps. If you guys, so quick request, if you guys actually do try this exercise, I know it's a little embarrassing, but share your writings with me. Share your writings with me and with anyone else in the comments section. And I, if you had the motivation to actually listen to this whole video, then I think you're a pretty motivated person overall. I would actually recommend, I would actually encourage you, share your multiple drafts, like not just one, but uh, your competing drafts. And if you're not sure which one is better, then you should be able to get feedback by sharing multiple versions of what you want to convey. And I'd be happy to give you feedback in the comments when I see them. Okay, so that's it for today. Hope this was helpful. If it was, please hit that like button. And if you'd like more writing content specifically, writing prompts and stuff like that, if you specifically want more like this is my first time ever doing this kind of content on YouTube. But if you liked this, please let me know, because probably YouTube is literally going to show this video to like 1,000 people maximum. So I would just not know if you like it unless you tell me so. Okay. All right. That's it for today. Until next time, keep on learning, keep on growing. Peace.